have an amazing talk with Mashano on the topic pitching for profit. So if you wanna join the talk and enjoy 30% off for drinks and food, then please come here to the front and support our amazing speaker Aaron. And our members and our Indonesian community even gets 50% on food and beverage. So I quickly want to tell you a little bit about our company. So Genius Cafe is actually part of a company called Entrepreneur Resorts, which is based in Singapore. And the whole idea of Genius Cafe is we're not a classic co-working space. We're actually more of a global community and an entrepreneurs hub. So the whole idea is actually to gather all social entrepreneurs and change makers of the world in our community and exchange and collaborate and network. And this Genius Cafe right here in Sanur is the first one that we have. We just recently opened up another one in Gianyar. And we're planning to get another 48 in the next 5 years. So we are growing as a company a lot and expanding all over the world in like all these beautiful beach locations to make this a home for entrepreneurs and change makers. And then up in Gianyar, we also have a villa called Vision Villas. And this is an entrepreneur resort which allows us to host entrepreneur retreats and different business accelerator programs. So entrepreneurs can join different classes and workshops and learn about how to enhance their business, how to increase their positive impact, and all these kind of things. And even we have external coaches and mentors and consultants hosting their classes there as well. So this whole idea, the whole vision of our founder, Roger James Hamilton, is really to create this global community of change makers. And now, one more thing is basically that our company just recently got listed on the Seychelles Stock Exchange, so people can actually invest in our company and become part of our global movement. And now I would like to tell you a little bit more about our speaker, Aaron. So Aaron spoke here before. He's a very entertaining, engaging, really nice speaker. Really cool to listen to him. He has a lot of experiences to share with you guys. So Aaron was born in Zambia, and then he moved to Australia, and he studied law and commerce at the University of Sydney. And then while he was studying, he actually set up numerous successful businesses. And then, so this enabled him and his clients to live more successfully and make a bigger positive impact in their communities. And during that time, Aaron actually recognized that the level of his success was a direct result of his ability to help others to succeed as well. And so what he says now is actually that helping startups to become successful businesses is not just his passion, but it has actually become his calling. So he also has more than a decade of experience in vocational and educational training. And he founded an international business venture, which is called Leaders of Tomorrow Group. It consists of 4 subsidiaries, and he's going to tell you a little bit about that later in person. And he has consulted a lot of different types of organizations, different businesses from different sectors. He has joined high-level panel discussions with some leaders and heads from federal, state, and governments. And he's right now making an impact with his books that he's publishing, and also with his audios, videos, and workshops. And he's engaged into angel investing. So, as I said, he has a broad skill set to share with you guys. He's a super engaging speaker with a lot of experience. So let's give a warm welcome to Aaron Mashano.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that introduction. I always feel a bit awkward about the introductions in general, because I think a lot can be said during the words, but what I'm hoping to do is create some level of impact with you guys based on some of my personal experience. So before we actually start, since we're a lot of us, is it possible that everyone can just move to the inner circle? That way you're in spitting distance to me. No, just kidding. So that I can just make sure we can connect and it'll get a little bit more cozy and have a bit of fun together. Okay, cool. Thank you. I am doing pitching for profit. My brain is like trying to change it. Okay, great. Okay, so who's actually heard me speak before? 1, 2. Good. Who has never heard me speak before? Okay, let me apologize up front. I'm a terrible speaker. No, just kidding. I wanted to say this because I think, honestly speaking, I never wanted to run a presentation workshop for 2 reasons. One was I can come across a little bit politically incorrect. I don't know if you guys know what that means. It just means that because I'm in business more than I am in anything else in life, I love one of my best speakers I've ever heard is Obama. Who's ever heard him on TV? Like very powerful, compelling. You just want to hear him talk forever. Really, we call it swagger in street, but he's just got it going on. Now, I know his objective is to get a majority of people to approve what he's saying because he's got to get into politics and get a vote. That makes sense. But unfortunately, in business, if I tell you what you want to hear, 9 out of 10 times it's probably not going to be very good advice. Who knows what I'm talking about? Meaning, some people might give you well-intended advice, but it's probably not based on any facts or figures, or it's not based on experience. And let's just say someone says, hey, listen, my friend got into the mobile phone app and they got into $1 million business overnight, so you should get into one. The reality is it's not going to work for everyone. You know what I mean? So it'll be a very dangerous thing for me to tell you that. So I always put this slide up just to get permission from people who are in my workshops to say, guys, I don't speak from the objective of trying to impress you, but I do try and speak as honestly as I can about what's working for me in business today. Is that okay with everyone? Yes? Okay. If it's not, I can lie to you, but that's not going to be good for your business. I'd rather be as honest as possible. So it can come across a little bit hurtful at times because I'll just say, guys, let me give you an example. Women in the room have to work probably 2 times harder than men in business. Yeah? Bisa? It's true, right? Now, Africans like me have to work sometimes 10 times harder than Europeans. That's not a nice thing to hear the first time I heard it, but it's the truth. But imagine if you took that as an opportunity. As a what? You're listening. And then you said, okay, well, if I'm a woman, what are the hacks I can see in business because I'm a woman that can make me become successful? That's more important, isn't it? Or as me as an African, you soon see my style of speaking is very... Probably the closest to me would be an Italian. Arms all over the place, la 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 la. But that's just how my culture has brought us up to be. And I find most people like that because I can be myself, yeah? So what I'm trying to say there is, if you're going to get into this thing called pitching or public speaking or whatever, it's very, very important to have a very clear intention. A clear what? Good. So what is your intention for why you came to a crazy workshop with a crazy African like me? So what I'm going to do now is just to help everyone meet everybody else, because we all probably don't know each other. We're all a bit nervous. Some of us have never done this before, which is cool. Well done for coming. I'd like you to go meet someone you don't know and just say, hey, my name is Aaron. What's yours? Ricky. Well, I'm here because I'm really an introvert and I'd love to learn how to present better. So this is why I came. That's my intention for coming to the talk. Okay? For some of you, it's like, I don't care. I just want to make a lot of cash. That's cool. Some of you, it's like, I want to learn how to sell ice to Eskimos. That's cool. We'll cover all those. So just go and meet someone you don't know and just share your intention for coming. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. Go ahead. Okay. Awesome. Everyone had a bit of a share. Still sharing. Good. Love it. Feel free to continue connecting after the workshop. God forbid you actually have a potential key partner, client from this. It happens in workshops all the time. That's good. So anyone learn something cool? Meet a new friend? I hope everyone, because you're supposed to speak to someone new. Okay, good. All right, so let's talk about the journey a little bit. Someone's keeping track of time, yeah? Okay. So we're going to talk about first what is a business builder, because it's really funny. People get into this crazy thing called business, and then I ask them, hey, talk about what is, you're in business. Hey, Faye, how you doing? We go way back. And then I'm going to talk about some marketing approaches. Some of you are going to learn something that is literally going to change your life. I implemented a very cool strategy, which you'll learn about a bit more if we have time. But my conversions have changed from 4% to about 65, if not 70% conversions in my customer base. Who'd like to learn that one? And it's gratis. Oh, in English? Free, makasi. Yeah, it's free. So that's really good. I'll speak probably 4 languages. I'll mix up the words, but don't worry about it. And then we'll talk about the 5 stages of permission. And I'll be doing a webinar, I think, this month on that also. So in case you want more detail, some people want more detail about specific things. I usually run specific topics in webinars, so you can talk to Genius about that, and they'll give you a link. And then tips for a great pitch, and we'll talk about how you get impact, because that's the whole reason we're all trying to sell in the first place, right? Is how do you get impact. So let's begin. So who said you've heard my story before, where I came from, that story? No, not yet? Okay. So let's talk about the founder, who is me in this case, but soon there'll be someone else doing this job. That was me in 2000, believe it or not. Hopefully I haven't aged too much. I'm on to the organic, vegetarian lifestyle in Bali, but I became a lot older than before. But in 2000, I basically came to Australia as a refugee. And I was very, very fortunate because I had a couple of people that believed in me early days, and they gave me an opportunity to actually go overseas, and they paid for my fees, etc., etc. But here's something that's really messed up that you might not know. One of my first mentors was Mr. Solomon, and he made me make a promise. He made me make a what? He says, Aaron, listen, a lot of Africans, we expats, help them go overseas, get good jobs, etc., etc. But most of them never come back. So Africa is experiencing a bit of a skill shortage, yeah? I was like, oh, look, I was 8, 9, I don't know. I was like, okay, what does that got to do with me? He says, well, if I help you and go through this Christian association to fund the program for you to go overseas, you have to make me a promise. I said, what's that promise? He says, well, promise me you're going to be great. Promise me you're going to be what? Great. Not only great, but you're going to come back home and make a difference. Now, those days, if I said whatever he wanted me to say, he would buy me lunch. So guess what I said? Said, yeah, no problem. I got ice cream. You know, my family couldn't afford that. So we were subsistent farmers. And basically from that journey, I just made a commitment to someone I didn't really know very well. But this is kind of how I meet some people in the workshops. They've come from all sorts of lives, made choices to be here. God knows what you guys had to be here. I really appreciate it. I'm sure there would have been more people, but they didn't come for whatever the reason. Swamped, the galaxy took them, who knows. But here's something I want to share with you. From the day I made that commitment to him, it just instilled a different definition of success for me. And that guy you're seeing in 2000 was actually an introvert. That guy you're seeing in 2000 didn't really believe in himself that I could be more than a farmer. Who understands what I'm talking about? I had parents telling me things like money doesn't grow on trees, Africans don't really do well in the world, it's evil, and etc., etc. You know what I mean? So just had these limiting beliefs. But then I set myself a goal one day, crazy goal. I said, I'm going to be super successful. I'm going to make a difference and help as many Africans as I can because I made the promise. But more importantly, Zambia's landlocked. I'm going to live on an island, and I'm going to own my own little plot in an island. And I talked to my parents this, and they're like, you're out of your mind. Who feels that way when you start your business? Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this business. They're like, you're out of your mind. Because for most people, and you can write this down, I say a lot of things, but it's actually for you to take notes. Hi, thanks for joining us. People won't see for you what they can't see for themselves. You just need to be aware of that before you get into this pitching business. So you're going to get criticized no matter what you do. You're going to have people tell you it's not going to work because they don't believe they can do it. It has nothing to do with you. So this is what my coach actually says. He says, Aaron, when people criticize you, it's none of your business. Why am I telling you that? We'll be doing some exercises very soon. But I want you to get into that process of thinking, it's none of my business when people criticize me. It's none of my business when? Okay, easier said than done, true? But stick with me for the journey. So how did I get from 2000 being a dishwasher in Australia with very little English to 2017? This is a bad photo, but you can see the roof of my villa closer to the back there. That's my home. And I love my life. Now, I hated Tony Robbins when he used to coach this way because he's like, motivation, walk on fire. I'm like, dude, you don't understand my life. So, listen to me, guys. I feel you, but it's my turn now to make you guys feel bad. No, but the point is, between that time and that time, I ran 4 businesses that went absolutely belly up. I went bankrupt once. I was homeless 1,000,000 times. I've been divorced. I lost my son. I haven't seen my family for 16 years. Why am I telling you all this? I'm just telling you guys that success is a journey. Success is a what? It's not a destination. And some of you, yes, you want some get rich quick programs that can change your life and you make $1 million overnight. That's not my business, unfortunately. I'm just going to share my journey with you, and I'm going to share how you can build a business that works. It's a completely different business to making money, losing money, making money, losing money, and then going after the next flashy thing that's out there. So just know that my journey is also filled with a lot of failures. I'm not here on stage to tell you, hey, listen, look at me, I'm a perfect story. No, I'm probably more messed up than most people. But I never gave up on that promise I made, Mr. Solomon. That's really what I'm trying to say. So my question to you is, what's the promise that you've made yourself that got you into this crazy thing called business? Because if you're not clear about that, the minute you're pitching, Michael, and someone goes, boo, like, this business doesn't work, and then you quit. Well, no, you just didn't work the business. Is this making sense? So really be mindful of that. So where am I now? Now I just learned a lot about failure that I started building businesses differently. I started being more honest about who I was and who I wasn't with people. And we have an amazing coaching business. That handsome French man over there, Axel, wave your hand. You know, when you become a better person that you always wanted to be, you start attracting even more amazing people. This is a really crazy thing. People go, well, how do I get a good team? You become a good leader. That's a whole workshop in itself, but think about that. Then we set up a startup university because I'm a bit dyslexic, and I found school very difficult. And people told me because I couldn't do this, I was stupid, I was this. So I meet a lot of kids these days that are a little bit disconnected. You know what I mean? You watch the news? So we just created a university where I think people still graduate with an MBA, but now it's going to be a mega bank account. That's all that matters. And it doesn't matter whether you have a degree or you don't, woman, man, short, tall, doesn't matter. But this university, I think, is going to change the world. Then I came to Bali, and I love it here, and I wanted to make a difference with local people. So we set up an organic cold-pressed juice business November. We monetized it in 7 days, which is awesome. How did I do that? I failed a lot of times. Just learned how to do things smarter. But then what's so good about that cold-pressed business now is we're building a hydroponic project not far from here. And we're going to try and equip local farmers and make the young guys think farming is cool. How cool is that? I'm a farm boy from Africa. It's pretty easy for me to do that. And then we have niche meetup. So why would I build 4 businesses, you might think? Isn't that like too much? Well, I don't know. It just depends on your mission. To me, these businesses just represent prototypes that I can implement in Africa. That's pretty much it to me. But what I want to impress upon you guys is on the right-hand side. Success is not a lonely journey, guys. The people you're going to meet along the way will absolutely blow your mind. I really want to change some of your value set around what success means. It's not just a bank account. My coach puts it this way. It's who you become in the process of being successful. It's the people you change in the process of being successful. It's the confidence you can build and speak with a mic. I could never hold one of these things in the process of being successful. Who's interested in stuff like that? Yeah? If you are, come along with the journey, because trust me, the more you make it about serving others, the more success you get. So, where are we up to today? I've just been doing this since I was 12, selling cabbages in case I would starve if I didn't. That was, for me, the beginning. These days, they call it entrepreneurship. I didn't even know what that meant back then. But we're in we've coached 400 people plus now, and we're in 4 continents. And I scratch my head now and go, how the hell did I get here? But I can tell you, it comes down to that story that I was trying to share with you. It's what success means to me and how many people we can reach. And I really hope for you, you set yourself a great goal. Set yourself a what? And don't make it just a financial figure. How many people do you want to influence in your lifetime? Try that for size. It could be through your customers, your friends. It doesn't really matter. But here's the problem with setting real goals. If you aim for the ground and hit it, you've missed out on everything else. So many people set benchmark goals and don't aim for greatness. So write this down. It might help you serve a bit. The enemy of a great life is a good one. I'll say that again because some of you are thinking about it. That's good. The enemy of a great life is a good one. Some of us are so comfortable. We live good lives in the West. We have nice parents who can bail us out. We have money from inheritance. Who knows? But you're missing out on how great you can be in your life. For me, there's nowhere else but up because didn't have that. And what we're finding now, most self-made millionaires come from very interesting backgrounds. So if you're from a bad, challenging background, you are a very good candidate for a successful business. But if you come from a very good background, beware of comfort zone. Because you're probably not going to take those risks you need to grow the business that you want. So the last thing about us is, most of what I'm telling you guys, I've just tested it out. I've failed more times than most people I meet. And what works, I teach. What doesn't work, I don't teach. So I hope that's okay with you. Yep. So let's talk about how you get into this pitching thing. So who can tell me what a business builder is? Or who's the person you are who's sitting here trying to do this thing called business? What's a business builder? Anyone? This was a workshop, not a one-way talk conversation. Faye, I'm going to pick on you. Not that Faye yet. This Faye, then that Faye. She's like, why are you picking on me? She's an awesome Faye too, by the way.
We're all awesome.
Oh, totes. She's like Indonesian queen president of co-working spaces and stuff like that. Yeah, check her out. Hold on. So what's a business builder?
I think a business builder is someone who's got a vision to do something different
1, 2, 1, 2.
and then can go out and grab it.
Yes. Great.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Paul, you want to add to that? I know you got the brains, Paul. You're very relaxed looking over there.
You can put so many tags on a business builder, but that having a vision, and particularly if other people are going to be involved with it, being able to share that vision so that they can come on board with you.
Yeah.
And that makes you a leader in business then.
Nice. I love that. Who likes those? These are very good. I'm going to go to Mila, because I see you thinking. What's a business builder in your opinion? There's no right or wrong. This is not a class. In business, you don't have to be smart. It's the best thing about it. But not saying you're not. You guys are all very smart. But but what do you think a business builder is? Because we're all business people. But when I ask that question, you got to know who you are before you build something, right? So most of us just don't give it too much thought. So what do you think a business builder is? Or what do you think you do in your business to be called a business person versus, say, a job person or whatever people say these days? I don't know.
Inspiration to be a business.
Yes. Where are you from, by the way? Ireland?
Lithuania.
Lithuania. Ah, it goes a bit of twang there. Okay. Inspiration to be? What did you say?
Business person.
Inspiration. I definitely agree with that. Faye from Indonesia. What do you say? Of course. Otherwise, you'll never remember me if you don't come. You're too busy these days, you know.
Everybody, okay, I'm from Indonesia, and everybody said, why do you need to work so hard for entrepreneurship in Indonesia? Because, I mean, you see all those people selling stuff in the street, so you have a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But I think when we say entrepreneurs or business builder, I think we need to have a plan to pivot. You know, if doesn't work, you can always have plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, so forth. You know?
Totally.
Yeah, and the opportunity to scale up
Yes.
also, and it's called business. So there's profit. So if
Amen.
it doesn't close, I mean, if your bank account is decreasing and you don't have profit, then it's not a business, it's a hobby.
Nice. I love that. And we've had some conversations from about a year ago about that. It's so important. So let me give you a quick, okay, because my brain's so small, I like things to be small and simple so I can apply them. So I'll give you my version, but everything all of you said is so important. So I hope you get a leaf from everyone that contributed, because I think those are all very important points. But just for the sake of keeping it simple so that everybody is on the same page, let me give you a quick definition that I got from someone smarter than me. You ready? Here it is. A business person is a marketer. Full stop. What does that mean? It means that person is, if I had a way, I'd put in there constantly. What's the word? Constantly selling services and goods in the marketplace. Constantly. If you're not selling, let me ask you guys, if you're just starting off in your business, the biggest problem you have is one: non-existence. So if you don't get into this pitching business thing that I'm trying to encourage you guys to do, people don't know you exist. And when they don't know you exist, they can't buy from you. If they can't buy from you, you don't make the profit. Don't make the profit, you're bankrupt. This is why 9 out of 10 businesses, in my opinion, actually go back. They just don't know their primary goal or their primary function. So, in my opinion, this is one of the most important presentations for you to come to, because you're going to learn to get over this process thing and get into creating value in the marketplace by showcasing your brand. You have to do that. Coca-Cola spend how much money per year doing that? And we already know who they are. But they're constantly still doing it. So if they're constantly still doing it, why aren't we? You see the competition there is a little bit skewed. So food for thought for you. But let's talk about how you do that. So obviously you need a marketing strategy. And this one took me a long time. It took me 4 companies actually to figure this one out. So if I asked you around the room, I'm not going to do that today. What is your marketing strategy to stay valuable in the marketplace? Do you have one? And it's not Facebook likes and memes, by the way. It's a proper strategy. Most of us don't have one, don't even know what that looks like. And I'm going to share with you how you can do it cost effectively. But if you don't have one right now, I meet most of my clients, 8 out of 10 don't have one. And I'm like, you don't exist. That's the problem. Forget what your product is. There's another talk I did here, I think. Product is not the product. It doesn't matter how good your product is if people don't know about it. Does it make sense? Just simple stuff. But this is what I'm saying to you. At the beginning of your journey, you should be doing this 80% of the time. If you're not marketing, you don't exist. And marketing and sales is the most important thing that will fix every problem you think you have in your business. Every problem. Bills, marketing. Staff motivation, marketing. Yeah? Think about that. So here's how most people have in their marketing strategy, because they went to get an MBA or they saw an online course, and there's nothing wrong with that. But let me give you an example of what I think traditional marketing is. Who here has been on a date, or at least pretends they have been on a date? That's me. And in most cases, let's just say you're a woman or a man, but you make the epiphany moment. You say, okay, I want to get married. That's your goal, yeah? You want to get what? So that's your goal. So you go, okay, I need to probably look good. So you go and employ a tailor. I need to go to get a Tinder app, because that's the quickest way to get on there. And then I need to maybe employ a relationship coach person to give me all the lines and suave way of doing things. And then I need to go to all the singles bars, hit them all, and then hit my result of getting married. So you get dressed up, you do everything, you look pretty, you get schmick, Friday night comes, and then you go to the club and you go, you want to marry me? Say no. You want to marry me? You want to marry me? Of course not, yeah? You want to marry me? Yeah, this is what most people do. What's the marry me topic? It's making a sale. And then you come back and you go, ah, crap, Tinder doesn't work. You download, anyway, unsubscribe, whatever that is, yeah? And then you go and fire your tailor, because you spent a lot of money for him, and the brand new t-shirt with the colors of chakras didn't work, so you cancel that. Then you go to your relationship coach guy, and then he go, hey man, you told me these lines would work and they didn't work. But here's what that all comes down to, guys. It comes down to the fact that you're going straight into the marketplace, trying to bombard people to buy your product, and you're basically invading people's customer privacy and personal time. How many landing pages, Facebooks, TV, radio advertising, bombardment, buy, is out there in the marketplace? Is there less or more than back in the days? Is it more or less? Way more. And so you're going to jump on that bandwagon and go and disrupt people who already don't want to hear from you through Facebook campaigns, etc., etc. Nothing wrong with it. It has a good conversion rate. It's got 4%. But the point is, are we busier or less busier than we used to be? We're more busy. So that may not be the right strategy for a lot of people. And like I said, because there's just too much interruption happening and everybody is trying to sell something on the first date. Yeah? So here's some interesting statistics for some of you who love the facts like I do. Web Bureau, which is a London-based company only in Europe, did a survey and they found out that 52 million internet users are online every day from Europe. But only 37 million of those are real shoppers. Yeah? But here's what's crazy, and this is the next time you think of creating a landing page. 38 million marketing websites are being produced every day. So just with that pocket of European consumers, that means for every 38 plus million websites people are producing, only 2 viewers per website. So this is where you get this typical 2 to 4% conversion stuff. Now, to me, who's very much about being smart, looks at if I'm only getting a 2% response rate, that means 98% of people trashed, ignored, or rejected my so-called amazing website. You understand how crazy that looks from a statistical point of view? Not saying it's bad or good here, marketers in the room. I'm just trying to say, look at the data. So let me give you a case study quickly. Make sure 30 minutes you let me know, yeah? Here's the alternative. Amazon, God bless their souls, used to be in the book business, hardcover books, you know, back in the days. And what they did is they did an analysis on the publishing and the distribution of each $100 in this case. And what they found, guess how much was being used, guess where the biggest expense for in the book publishing industry was? Who wants to guess? The biggest expense. I know it's on purpose. Some people don't look poor. You know how it is. I don't look. I'm one of those. What's the biggest expense? Printing. But guess what's in there? I was hiding it. It's a trick question. Shredding the book means nobody bought it. That's where they spend most of their money. Their $100, most of that goes into shredding the book. That's crazy. So what they decided, and I love these guys for it, is they said, okay, why don't we try something different? Why not we create a platform where people who are interested in a particular book, I love The Alchemist, my favorite book. Yeah, you too, okay sister, you and I are one. So, in The Alchemist, I bought this from Amazon, and then at the end of the purchase, guess what they asked me? Hey, would it be okay if we sent you any new productions of books similar to The Alchemist? What do you think I said? Yeah. Click that. So guess what I get? Now I don't just get books from everywhere. I only get the books that I'm interested in. And guess what happens? I buy that one, then I buy the next one, and I buy the next one. And then Amazon go, this is curious. So why don't we do it now in the reverse? Go back to the writers who are like The Alchemist, like Paulo Coelho, a.k.a. Aaron Mashano. Just kidding, but I'm an author too. And say to Aaron, hey Aaron, or Faye, we'll give you $1 million. How much? $1 million to write a book like The Alchemist, and we already have 300 million people that are looking forward to that book. What do you think I would say to that $1 million upfront payment? Yeah, of course. So I take the money, I write the book, they publish it, and 300 million people who are interested in an Alchemist type book read it. And that's just on Monday. What about Stephen King books? What about, you get me? It's just a completely different way of doing it. And how much did it cost them? 0. Why? It came in my inbox, in my email. And I was looking forward to it because I said yes to it. Is this making sense? So, what does that mean, guys? Welcome to the new world, and I really want to make a prediction now. Thank you. I think the world is going to change. People are getting busier and busier, and most people don't want to hear from everybody. But ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to permission marketing. I've been using this concept for a year now. The busier people have, the more you need to seek permission before you send me a blog, before you send me a message on Facebook. I don't care what algorithm you use. If you didn't get consent from me, I don't want it. Who's here checking all their trash emails? Nobody. You see what I'm saying? So my question to you is, why are we so reliant on traditional marketing methods when there's just another way of doing things? What's this got to do with pitching? Everything. Everything. So, here's why it gets exciting. Once I get permission from you to speak to you for 90 minutes, I can then personalize my content to what it is that you guys want to hear about. But after that, it has to be relevant, because if you're not an entrepreneur, don't waste your time in a talk with me. Is this making sense? But once I do that, here's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Every time we send out something from our community base, we have a 65, 70, even 85% response. You don't even get that on Facebook public groups these days. But imagine if you're getting people responding. Do you think you can convert 70% of people to at least 50% sales over time? What's the answer to that? Of course you can. But here's my point. Because it is so backwards for most people, most of you in this room, it's like sounds good in theory, but I don't really understand it or I don't really process it. And this is why I'm saying you need to go on a journey, because here's the point I'm making, guys. If you look at just the hard stats, Facebook campaigns, social media networking, it's just expensive. And unless you're Paris Hilton, you can't afford it. That's my point. Hello again. I've seen you before. Thanks for coming back. So, email marketing is free for all of us. But how many of us are using it as a marketing strategy? I use it 100%. Now, this is a little bit out there for some of you, but here's my point. Get this book called Permission Marketing by Seth Godin. I read that book, and I'm not the only one, but trust me, I couldn't sleep for a week. I just couldn't sleep because in my mind I was like, I've been throwing millions of dollars down the drain to get a 4% conversion when I can just do it for free, build a community, and get 65+% conversion. Which one would you prefer? Now, I'm giving you that information, but here's the challenge I have. It's free to you. Guess how many of you are going to use it? 20%. But my challenge to you is this. If Amazon is using it, I think you should at least do some research. What do you think? Yeah? So check it out, but worth your time. So here's the guy I was trying to tell you, and this quote is what made me literally put down the book and just go, I got to change something. Selling to people who actually want to hear from you is way more effective than interrupting strangers who don't. So that is your first tip on how you can double your revenue with your existing client base. She's already an established business. She understands the frustrations of marketing. True? There you go. The ones who haven't, good luck to you if you haven't. You will soon experience it. So here's my system. Aaron invented this. Yours truly. There's only 5 stages. Take a photo. I don't mind, guys. Here's what traditional marketing tells you. Go disrupt someone, put away campaign, put a ton of cash in there, and off you go. Then number 2, in the permission marketing though, guys, you have to gain permission. You have to gain what? Let me ask you this question here. Who here has got some value so far in the presentation? We're 30 minutes or 35 minutes in. Who's got some value? There you go. The ones that put up their hands, that is me trying to exchange permission with the value exchange. The ones that didn't, don't worry about it. It's got nothing to do with you. Yeah? But then, my game now is to start building relationships. Sedikit dingin, huh? Is to start building relationships with those people who put up their hands. The ones that didn't, don't worry about it. Don't get in the business of convincing people, guys. It's very expensive. Yeah? But here's where a lot of the traditional sales companies stop. They say, okay, now that the company's done this and you've gone through the features and benefits, close the deal. I say, guys, the world has Google now. You can't hide from reviews. I say open a relationship. Because the business starts when they've purchased something. It doesn't start when you take the money and run, which is what a lot of people do. You've just begun your business. But here's the 5th one that doesn't exist, guys. Establish a sustainable, what's the word? Sustainable customer relationship. What does that mean? It means, Paul, if I can't deliver something constantly for the journey of our relationship, I shouldn't offer it. That is sustainable. But if I offer something and Paul loves my product because it's relevant, timely, he might have another Paul I might like. And therefore, how much do I spend on the next referral? 0. And the next one? 0. And the next one? And it's scalable in phase case. So it's going to be sustainable. But what do most people do? Snatch and grab. Or as we say in public speaking, show up and throw up. Make a lot of promises and don't deliver any. Get away from this, guys. The business world is going to change. Now you can't hide from what we like to call customer delivery. So I hope you get something out of that. So, oh my goodness, I didn't do this. Ricky, is it possible to, maybe through Axel, print out the demo? Just Google the demo for the 12 steps of permission planning. I'll give you guys this tool for free. Take it yours truly. And there's my number up there. If you miss me and you want to call me about it later, you can. But let me just take you through a couple of these steps. So The strategy of how you get a permission marketing model started is number one, you have to identify your ideal client. Your what? Not your customer. I don't even believe in that. I have like raving fans. People like it's almost cultish actually, but I like that. It's good. But what you're doing there is it's either an individual or an organization. So in Faye's case, her ideal clients are people who want to go diving but want some variety and something more customized. Is that true? There you go. How do I know that? Trust me, I listen. Yeah? So when you do that, then it's easy for you to start asking yourself, when Faye's customers are coming through her door, what is their current situation? Meaning, what's their pain motivator at that point? For people, when I meet them in coaching and business, they're frustrated. Exhausted, frustrated, confused, just hated their last coach, nothing's working, who knows, something like that. But that's the current situation. Then I have to ask myself the question, as Faye's already answered beautifully, by the way, is she's tailor-making, is that the word? But you know what I mean. Her diving suits so that they offer more variety. So she can deliver on some of the lack of options in the marketplace. Is that your problem solved? There you go. Yeah? How do I know this? I've just done this thousands and thousands of times. People get caught up in the product. It has nothing to do with it. It's about exploring these two areas. Is this helpful? Next, my favorite is, what are the top 3 problems that your business solves? If you can't answer that, you don't have a business. You must know. I'll give you an example. People hate McDonald's, but it's a $1 billion business because the problem they're solving is not the problem you think they're solving. Guess what problem McDonald's solve? You know, McDonald's, the big M. What's the main problem they solve? Paul, I know I can go to you for answers. No pressure here, Paul.
I'm just thinking of the golden arches.
Yeah, golden arches. Yeah. It's so true. I'm a victim of that after a big night, actually. I end up there and I'm like, what am I doing here? Okay, so I'll make it simple. Fast food, but the problem they're solving is hunger. They're not solving organic food. They're not solving conscious business. That's not the business up at the top. So you need to be aware of that for your own business, because if you don't know what the problems are, how are you going to elevate your customer through that solution? You have to be clear. And when I meet most people, ask them that question, they're like, well, you know, I think it's like, well, you know. If you're that vague, your message is not clear, and it's going to affect everything. Your branding, your name, everything is affected by that. So food for thought. There's a great tool for you. You're going to get it today. But notice there's only 4, and I have 12. Why 12? I just think if you can't fill in 4, you're not going to fill in 12. So I'm going to give you 4. Don't say, hey, Aaron, where's the rest of it? Fill it in and then send it back. Send us an email. Maybe we'll talk. So how do we get this permission marketing thing going? And this is why we're here. Is notice back in the days it was called inbound versus outbound. Public speaking is an inbound thing. So for all of us, who here has just started their business, hasn't quite sold anything yet, but they're kind of playing with an idea? Okay. Who here has a customer? Or customers, 40 million in her case, but you know, whatever number it is. And who here has staff and has a business? That's a completely different business. Okay, cool. So let me just help all of you. Public speaking is probably by far one of the fastest ways to get impact and the cheapest methods to do it. I recommend public speaking for that reason. Thank you. 20 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go. Okay, go. Thank you. So here are the benefits for those of you that are not convinced. Guys, I told you I was an introvert from Africa. I didn't get here and I wasn't born with these skills. I had to build them up one presentation at a time. Number 2, I had to learn to handle rejection. Did you know public speaking is feared more than death? It's insane. I get it, but here's my point. Remember what I said a business builder is someone who can market. And public speaking can help you do that. I won't go into too many things, but this is a funny one. I don't think I'm one of the best speakers, but the fact that I'm here probably gives me more authority than people that are not prepared to do it. It's a really funny thing. Psychologically, people go, oh my God. You know, I don't know why it happens, but if it does, use it as a tool for yourself. Just get out there, Toastmasters, get into it, because you can position yourself as an authority without having to pay for it. Last but not least, but this is my most important one, I think, guys, is you need to start learning to laugh at yourself when you make mistakes. First time I was on stage, I think I introduced myself as Priscilla. I don't know why, but I just remember people were like, oh, that's something you didn't tell us. I was that nervous. But my coach says, just laugh about it and move on, try again, try again. And in life, people want us to be so perfect, living on other people's expectations, when all you need to do is just have your own. This would test you like you have no idea, but if you get through on the other side, you won't take anything in your business too seriously. Yeah? So let's talk about the 3 keys and we'll get you guys to do some work. So how do you actually get to build a confidence? People ask me this a lot. I do incubator programs, Google startup all over the world, la 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 la. It's the same issue. I see people, they see a 3-minute elevator speech and they're like, speech? And they're like, oh yeah, I gotta be robotic. No, you don't have to be anything but yourself. But that's my question to you guys, is do you know who you are? Because if you don't, you're gonna try and pitch like Donald Trump when maybe you're an Oprah style. Or maybe you're not even an Oprah style, you're a Michael Facebook guy. Him. Yeah? Everyone is different, but they all have impact because they don't try and become something they're not. And this is something that needs to come back in the public speaking space, I believe. So how do you do that? There's a great book called Personality Plus. I strongly recommend you get it. Believe it or not, 80% of you in this room have already figured out your personality just by how you sit. It's amazing how your body language gives you away, 80%. And if you're not aware of how you sit, can you imagine how other people are making judgment calls on you about your business? Because people don't actually buy products, they buy feelings. So for me, who was an introvert, I was like, oh my God, I want to talk to you about this business. And then the sale comes, I'm like, yeah, so, you know, maybe if you want to, like, maybe it's free, but not really. I mean, wow, you can't get anywhere in business. But I had issues around selling. Now I just believe I have a cure to cancer in business. So take it or leave it. Very different place. But I had to find out my personality first and then understand there's 3 other styles in the world. And if you don't know, for the left-brainers in the world, this is why I gave you statistics. You like graphs and figures. Give me the data, guys. Don't lie to me. But then the other those of you, I started saying, who wants to hear my story? And people are like, yeah, me. Those are the right-brainers in the room. They love a story. Don't care about the details. Hate numbers. That's cool. But imagine if I didn't know that. Imagine if you don't know that when you're presenting. So these are a couple of billionaires. A couple of what? I'm going to show you all of them, including your favorites at the bottom. They're all different types. So this is really funny. I used to use this for 10 years. I was talking to my brother behind the camera. And I learned what style I was. And then here I am now partnered up with the guys that actually created this profile. It's really funny how the world works. But this I've been using forever. And when you understand, for you particularly women in the room, there's so many women that should be the next Oprah, or the next Mother Teresa, or the next Mayas. But they're so trapped in trying to create a mobile phone app like Facebook. You're missing out on such a huge place of power. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're chasing, I think they call it in English, flashy something syndrome. What is that? Flashy something syndrome. It's like, oh yeah, let's go do this because everyone's making money that. So you jump into that. 2 years later, oh yeah, let's do this now. Before it was property, now it's Facebook apps. Tomorrow, who knows? Oprah just stays in her lane. This is how they become billionaires, guys. Take that for yourself as feedback. So what we're going to do now is help you overcome some of those fears. And what I notice most people do, and let's say this together. Stop selling. Stop. Start serving. The minute you get out of selling and into service, it's not about you. You talk to just about any other person in the, you know. Because guess what is behind the reason why people hate public speaking? It's the fear of what other people think. In other words, people-pleasing syndrome. Because if you really don't care like a 5-year-old, look at this amazing young girl, topless, just totally in her own life. My point is, do we all remember when we were that way about life? All of us do, right? We would just do whatever. So what happened between 5 to whatever age you are now? I'll tell you what happened. It's called conditioning. And you started being more interested in selling than serving. So here's what I want you guys to scrap. Scrap the elevator pitch, as people call it. I want you to do Two things. Number one, talk about this point of view. My ideal clients are. Okay? Number two, the top problems I solve is. Now, which part of this is selling? Imagine if I came to you, Michael, and I said, hey, Michael, or Jill, or how do I say your name? Pring? Primi. I say, Primi, nice to meet you. Really, thank you for coming for the talk. My ideal clients are women, really interested in making a change, but they're really at the moment struggling with confusion. They really don't have enough self-sufficiency in their businesses, and they're really looking for some guidance between 3 to 6 months to get financial results in their business. But that's what I do. How are you? What do you do? I can tell you in Primi's mind, Michael's mind, your mind, everyone's mind is going through people you know that have those problems. And you say one of the following. Well, you know, it's funny you said that. I have a cousin who, oh yeah, that's me. Or, oh man, that must be really cool. Or one of the other two, but there's nothing in there that I'm saying, do you want my card? Do you want to buy from me? You understand what I'm saying? So don't get into features and benefits. Get into telling people who your ideal clients are and the problems you want to solve for them. So everybody stand up. No selling. If I hear you saying, oh yeah, you know, you feel it. People start going, then you know you're too hardcore, okay? So go to someone you don't know, introduce yourself, and say, following the guide, my ideal clients are, and if you don't have a business, make it up. It doesn't matter. I just want you to have an experience. Have a what? All right, go for it. Have some fun with this and laugh at yourself if you make mistakes and forget your name. I do this all the time. But someone you don't know, and it's usually the person you've been saying, oh, that person looks interesting. Go to them and introduce yourself. Cool. And I'll take one also. Cool. Now, for everyone who's moved, and pause slightly, yeah, does it feel different? Is the energy from the speaker different? Are you connecting with people different? How was those exercises just to get out of your head and just talk about your ideal people that you're serving? It's just different. My point is, I'm not in the business of telling people what to do, but I'm in the point of giving you a mind shift. And some of you sit back in classes, but you sit back in life. Some of you are so left brain technical, you're missing out on a holistic business that can change your life. Some of you have way too many stories and not enough action. And some of you just don't move. You love your comfort zone too much. You get it? Move around. You feel so much different. And just what you're going to experience in the last 10 minutes should ask you the major question. And write it down. This is the most important question I can ask you for today. What are you holding on to that's keeping you where you are? What a question. Oh my God. That drives me insane every time my coach reminds me of that. I was holding on to my past marriage, my race issues, my poverty mindset, my political position of communist, capitalist, social Marxist. I don't know what was going on in my head. It was insane. And all I needed to do was just start serving and do something different. If there's nothing else, just that exercise of moving and meeting someone new is the future to your business growth. Because everything you want, guys, everything, not even some things. Look at this. Yeah? Don't know if you can see that. CZ stands for comfort zone. It's so small. Everything you know, everything you have, I can do a whole workshop on this, but we just don't have the time. Some clients I meet, they're so stubborn. They're so fixed on being right. It has nothing to do with business. Nothing. Oh, this product, this logo, this is, oh my God, and they spend hours on it. And I'm like, dude, it has nothing to do with business. Because everything you want, the more money is out there. It's with new people. These are your people you know. These are people you don't know. This is the market. This is your little head. Or our little head. Let me just be personal on this because I'm also part of that, okay? So challenge yourself. How do you do that? Guys, read this book. It's the worst book I've ever read in my life. It's so boring. It's not funny. But what I want to share with you, is it's 10,000 hours. The other book by Simon Sinek, whatever his name was, or Seth Godin, I don't remember, one of those guys, yeah. But it was called Outliers. And they just talk about all the greats we know, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Oprah, Beethoven, all of them spent 10,000 hours with a coach or someone that were an apprentice in a new skill, and they worked their way to mastery. And that's why they are who they are today. Now, here's something so funny. It doesn't matter what it is, you need to invest 10,000 hours. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates were working hard on programming before being a nerd was cool. And none of us knew that. But when the internet revolution hit and computers came, they were 10,000 ahead of all of us. So, where's your 10,000 hours? Or this is how my coach puts it. You want to improve a part of your life? Show me your practice. How many hours of practice are you putting in this thing called entrepreneurship? Oh my God, I said I didn't have a video and there it is. So this video is awesome, but you're not going to see it. Number 3. So you got to practice. That's basically what I'm saying about public speaking. You just got to practice and find your style. But number 3, let's talk about the clarity. This is where I lose a lot of people and why most people don't get onto public speaking. Total? Okay. What's your business going to be like in the future when it's built? Most of us want money, but we don't even know how much. Most of us want a business, but we don't know it's for freedom. So you get stuck in a business, you just bought yourself a job. It doesn't make any sense. So, how do you want it to perform? Do you want a Monsanto business, McDonald's business, or a business that people can go, that guy did some good? All of that are important. Doesn't matter if you're selling bikinis or pretzels. So I talked about this already. We spent some time on the exercises. Guys, the only reason I can do this presentation is because I know my top 3 problems that I solve in my business. I spent time there, and then I found the solutions. And these are the solutions I offer in my business. That's it. If you want something else like get rich quick scheme, I'll recommend you someone else. I just don't do that. Yeah? So, we have 2 minutes, yeah? Good. Here's some mechanical stuff for the mechanical people in the room that think they're introverts like me. I needed something to hold on to start. So, there are 3 parts to it. There's position, there's value, and there's mechanics. Okay? Position. Notice in my conversation with you, I made it personal. I can't talk about Tony Robbins' success. I didn't live his life. I lived my life. So share your story more often. It's the most compelling product you have. Hi, welcome. Number 2, have a presence. Who here got some value from today? Yeah? That was actually a technique to ask you, for me to know who you are, for you to know who I am, because not everyone needs to get value. Yeah? But have a presence. Don't sit in one room in a corner and read a script. They're human beings. They want to connect with you. I've tried to connect with as many people, including you. Thanks for coming. Eye contact. I believe in you as much as you believe in me, but make it work. Have a presence with people. Next, share examples. Imagine building a business like Elon Musk. Not only are you making billions of dollars, but you're actually changing the ecosystem. Wow, what a business. That's an example. Imagine. Let me give you an example. Use examples. If you don't, you can't relate. Next, call to action. Oh, I missed one. Engage the audience. We just talked about that. You guys have done 4 exercises today. You didn't know it, but I was counting. I want you to share between yourselves. That's really where the work is. And last but not least is take action. Because if you don't take action, you've been pitching for nothing. Yeah? So take action. So Ricky's going to hand out some of the tools now, just so you can take home. Work on them, please. And try and challenge yourself to have a permission marketing approach. But remember, every time you present information, be it on paper or not, know there are people who love facts and there are people who love stories. Don't mix up the two. Some of you are so busy creating business plans, they don't work. Uh-oh. So how do you win? There's only 4 steps. Number 1, guys, make sacrifices. Start getting outside your comfort zone. Yeah? The magic is there. And what I think I can see already in this room, 80%, that some of you are just interested in business. It's not bad, but you can't be laid back about business, guys. You can't compete. Number 2, Some of you are doing it as a hobby, and that's okay. We all started there. But the difference between a hobby like Faye with an E said is some of us are building business, putting in hours, we're not making money. That's a hobby. And that's not fun for a long time, trust me. But the reason it's a hobby is because you're just doing it when you feel like it. What I'm looking for are people who are prepared to see amateur for what it is. Amateur stands for apprentice. It stands for what? An apprentice is someone that's committed to the practice, guys. This is a completely different thing. But not just practicing on 10 million strategies of how to become successful or whatever that is. You start working on the things that work and you start practicing so you can get recognized in the marketplace. But trust me, amateurs put in a lot more hours. But this is Michael Jordan when he was an amateur, and this is Michael Jordan on the right when he was a pro. Everybody knows him, everybody thinks he's a hero, but nobody knew him as an amateur when he got dropped in university. If you really believe in something like I do about people, I've been rejected in my business probably more than most people in this room. But this is probably why I have the success I do. Because for me, and I hope for you, I'm looking for the legends. Who here wants to make a greater impact on the world? All of us do in some shape or form. But then you gotta put in the hours, guys. You just gotta put in the hours. There's blood, sweat, and tears to become a legend. Only 4% of businesses make $1 million sales revenue. In the whole world, 4% of businesses make $1 million and above. 50% can make maybe 40 to 50,000 a year. This is just a reality. But you want to be an elite, and you're putting in 4-hour work week hours. I don't think that balances out very good. Be aware of that. Second thing you need to think about, don't confuse activity with production. I meet most people, they're stuck in employee mindset. Oh my God, I put in 10 hours in my business today working on my logo and my website. No offense, who gives a shit? What did you sell? How many prospects did you see today? That is the marketing that's needed. Is this making sense? Okay. Third, my favorite. Guys, I blame my ex-wife for why I wasn't successful. I blame the fact that I was an African. I blame the fact that the government hated my guts. I blamed Donald Trump now, but before was someone else I can't remember. I blamed everybody. Then my coach came to me one day and he says, hey, Aaron, the only problem with your list is you're not on it. So put yourself at the top and own why you have the bank account you have. The minute you do that, guys, you're going to change because you're not going to be satisfied with this bullshit conversation most people have about she'll be all right, as they say in Australia, or it's okay. It's not okay. And when you own up to that, you're going to change. Sorry, 1 minute to go. Because here's something I've met after 400 coaching clients. Guys, it's not even the smartest person with the most money that succeeds in business. It's the fearless ones. They're so hungry for success, it's like their life depends on it. You gotta get a little bit of that in you. Otherwise, how are you gonna compete with people like me who've put in 10,000 hours? You can't. You just can't. Yeah? It's not bad or good, it's just you're lazy, or we're lazy. So look at the person you idolize and look at their biography of how many hours they've put in. And that's where the secret is. Second last is, I love this, guys. I was like the crazy kid in Africa, wanted to jump on planes and go to an island when I didn't even know what ocean looked like. But some of you here probably resonate with that. You're the odd one out, yeah? My point is find a tribe that resonate with your values, but do something more. Love them hard and contribute. Because trust me, the people I'm showing now, there's Dinara. I met her here. We're involved in hydroponics, social projects, but that's what I want to do with my money. I'm not saying everyone should, but I know you have something you want to do with your money. But don't bail out on the excuse, I don't need to be rich to be successful. That's a cop-out. Become successful and let's see if you give the money away. Most people don't. So they're lying to themselves in most cases. So find a tribe. We have one, Axel's part of it, and I think it's really important. So in closing, before 5:30, I want to leave you with these 3 images. Something I do in my coaching program, session 1, is we have to find out, what do you want your life to look like when it comes to a close? We're all going to get there. Some of us tomorrow, some of us next year. I lost a friend recently. But my coach asked me this question before I started my business, guys. And if I asked you, what are the 3 words for you? I want this to be the most important workshop you guys have attended. I've put everything into this because I want to live every moment, because I've seen people check out in Africa because they can't even afford medication. Some of us are so laissez-faire. Get into the game and live your life the way you meant to, and a business can create that for you. It really can. Don't just buy a brick from World Vision. We don't get the money. I was a World Vision kid. I know that. But number 2, I love my son. For me, I was bullshitting myself, lying about success, pretending I was someone I wasn't. And then my kid was born. The whole game changed. Now I just want him to remember me for doing something great. And let's talk about the contribution. Guys, you can just do more with money. I don't make the rules. It's just a fact. Someone with more money contributes more. That's just a fact. Just build it and give it away. I really recommend that. So if any of this resonated with you, all I'd like to do is just invite you, the people that it resonated. We only do free consultations, and you get a free report. You get a free what? This report will change your life, because for me, it's about your current situation and where you want to go. So for 60 minutes, one of our coach guides can talk to you, ask you a couple of qualitative questions, fill in an amazing business report for you. We can send that to you complimentary or gratis. What's the word? Gratis is free. So don't come say, "Brapa ganyan." No, it's free. But it's an investment of your time. So if you're interested, please go and see Axel, and he will book you into the next available time that we have for 60 minutes. And the worst case scenario, you get a free report, and at best you can take that to another coach who it will save them thousands of dollars to figure out what's going on in your head. But if it's the right time to work with me or us, then we can decide that after our free session also. So I want to say thank you very much first to Genius Cafe for hosting me, and thank you very much for all your attention. If you got any questions for me, I'll be here, and we have a question answer session now. But if you want to book a session, I recommend maybe after the question answer session, you go straight to Axel and he'll book you in. I don't know the dates of anything. So thank you very much again, guys.
Startup University.
Yes.
For who does it meant, this university?
Yeah, good question. So Startup University is meant for anyone that wants to build their business minimum 54 hours. We just build it from scratch to finish. So you walk away with a finished business that works in terms of marketing, branding, everything. So we do it in an intensive incubator program for 54 hours. We're gonna do one now next year with Genius. It'll be at one of the entrepreneurial resorts in February. We usually get about 70 businesses there, and then the ones that win stay longer, and we keep going with that. But I've got everyone from an experienced business person who wants to just get more clients to someone who's just got an idea trying to get their business viable. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Good question. Anyone else have a question? Any question? Don't lose the opportunity. There's no such thing as a bad question. Some people even ask, "Hey, Aaron, what color are your underwear?" I was like, "Yeah, look, they're blue today, I think." So I'm just joking, but it's that serious. I really don't mind what the question is. Well, I don't know if I'll answer that question the right way, but there's 2 parts to what you said that just popped up. I'm a coach. I can't help myself, yeah? I don't necessarily always listen to what people ask me. I'm more digging behind that. Like, why did they ask that question, So I'll put it in 2, not just for Paul. I'm speaking to everyone now. Is that okay? So forgive me if I'm a little bit off topic, but it's relevant. Number 1, who's heard of Socrates? All of us. Who's applying Socrates' philosophies? I would say 20% of the world population. So the bigger problem we have in this life is not lack of information, it's the poor execution. So the other way of answering your question now is I recognize that people don't execute because they know too much. So they actually need more accountability partnership with someone who's going to kick their ass and say, "Hey, Paul, you said you're going to do this by the 30th, let's go." Not I said you should do it. You said you wanted to do this, and that's what we made a plan for. Let's do it. Because who's here tried to lose weight? January's gone. Now we're in August. We're still thinking about that gym membership sitting in the back, you see? Yeah, you see, we're all laughing. It's true. I'm one of those. So everybody knows we should go and do some exercise, Socrates example, but applying it is the bigger issue in this day and age. So that's what I'm about, is like solving those problems of helping people become accountable to what they said they really wanted. That's number one. But number two, I'm finding that there's just a lot of bullshit hacks going on. Sorry, not bullshit in a bad way. It's just the most tested way to get from A to B is to go straight through A to B. And most people just don't do that because they're looking for shortcuts in the forest. You understand? So until I see the world change where we get more clients actually doing the basics, like filling in that tool, which most people won't, I just stick to the timeless principles only. And I'm a farm boy, so I just know if I don't plant in spring, I'm going to suffer in winter. That's the basic way of putting it. In business is the same. If you don't sell and market right now and practice the basics that everybody's talked about that are on Google, you're not going to even get good at the other stuff. You know, forget the Google Analytics. That stuff actually honestly doesn't change anything. You still have to meet people. You still have to connect. Behind every online product, you people who are going online, there's still a human being about to buy that, right? They still need to know you're solving their problems, right? That hasn't changed for millennia, and I don't think it's going to change for another 2 million years. Yeah, I put the internet there just because, you know, we have a global business. Faye said it. Where's Faye? With an E. You have to be able to scale your business. And in this day and age, unless you want to buy yourself a job, you have to start employing some of these softwares that can help you scale. But what I was just trying to share there is just cutting through the noise and giving you the most basic, which is an email marketing tool that everybody can use. And you don't have to spend money on it because most of us as startups are bootstrap. I've never got funding from anyone for all my companies. I'm not saying it's proud, there's probably ways of getting money, but I found in my last company, it was more of a pain in the ass. If you don't believe me, speak to the Uber founder. He's no longer part of his own business because investment got in the way. So there's just dangers with stuff like that. So I'm just a bit more traditional in a way. But I say make $100,000 and then double it, and then double it, you know? But you find most people stop at 250. I don't know why, that's just how it is. So great question, Paul. I hope that answered that question on both sides, yeah? One more question. Yes, I love your kids. How are they? I love you too. Yes, she does amazing events at her resort villa. Yes.
So you were talking about permission marketing.
Yes.
And you were talking about building this list of people.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you talked about it earlier in your presentation, but I was here late. So, but how do you go about gathering how do you go about building this list
Yeah,
who
good.
actually want to
Yeah.
hear from you?
Brilliant. Great question. So who here got the tool, permission marketing tool, 4 steps? Did you get it?
Yeah.
You especially, and anyone else for this matter, you fill in those 4, I definitely will give you the rest. Because those 4 are the basics. If you can't identify your ideal clients, you're going to just have 1 million subscribers with nobody who responds to your emails. It's just, people say, don't fall for the gimmick, build your subscription base 1 million people. But they could be crap, you know? You're looking for active, responsive people. So that strategy of identifying your ideal client and then having a strategy around how you're going to solution their problems will delete 80% of the marketplace. And then from there, there's strategies below on how you start building permission marketing. And I call it Confusionsoft, but let's just say it's Infusionsoft. If you don't know what you're doing with those sort of programs, these automations, you're just building an extra headache for yourself. Stay with the organic marketing first, establish your proof of concept, and then scale to online. That's my recommendation. Yeah. Great questions. It's the most questions I've had. Okay, I think, unless there's one more itching one. No? Okay, call me later. So thank you. Just before I let Ricky speak, if you really want that free report, talk to Axel, and he'll book you in for it, and then at least you get the product of a free report. It's really amazing, because we give some recommendations for you, and you can take those elsewhere also. So thank you very much again. Great questions, guys.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Great. I told you he was a very entertaining speaker. So thank you guys for your contribution and for coming as well. Please feel free to make use of your discount for until about 6 o'clock. And in the meantime, You can network and make use of our blank business cards and exchange contacts if you want. And Aaron is actually going to talk again on the 29th of August. He's going to hold another talk, and the title is 3 S's to Future-Proof Your Business. So feel free to join him again. And yeah, we have these talks every Tuesday. So even other people are going to talk about any other tangible business skills that they're going to share. And please join us every Tuesday here at Genius Cafe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.